Hello again. I want to thank Adam Toon for a great lesson Sunday morning. If you missed that lesson, you need to look it up and take it in. I woke up this morning, turned on the TV, was watching the morning news, and I was struck with some really staggering numbers. Numbers that I hadn't heard before about how many people could die in this pandemic. It reminded me, and I don't know why, but it reminded me of the days of the Vietnam War. You got to be an old coot like me to remember the Vietnam War. But every night during the evening news, we would get a death toll. We would get a tally of how many Viet Cong had died and how many U.S. servicemen had been lost in that conflict. Like those numbers were going to dictate the outcome of the war. Today, we hear jokes about homeschooling our kids, about toilet paper, about the grocery stores. But we also hear some very serious concerns. People dwell on worst case scenarios. They even make plans for worst case scenarios. Colossians is one of the letters that Paul wrote from prison. It amazes me, and I stay amazed at the very positive and grateful attitude that Paul had while he was in prison. In Colossians chapter 3, Paul writes a lot about how we should live life. And I would like to read you the beginning of that chapter. Colossians chapter 3, beginning in verse 1. Since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. You know, right below that in my Bible, in big letters, I have the word fact written there with an exclamation point. It is a fact that when Christ appears, we will appear with him also in glory. It's up to us where we set our hearts and where we set our minds. Be safe. Stay well. We will meet again.